the trick is you have to think like a reporter, and you have to think like a headline writer, and you kind of think backwards from that. And like I said, sometimes it isn't there, and it just like, or you're in a category that's just way oversaturated. Like, so for example, I get approached a lot about cryptocurrencies and NFTs and stuff. And I tell people, I really cannot help you. I mean, a few times I've been able to break through with NFTs, but usually they're based on major celebrities. Like there's something there that people want to hear about. Or I will reach out to very specialized people who write about, like, this is the other weird thing, like for almost anything you can imagine, there is someone who writes about it. You know, if your product helps people like make, you know, natural watercolor paints out of tree bark, there's someone who writes about that, you know, like in somewhere in the world. You know, usually, but that's the trick. And it doesn't always work. I mean, I think that's what can be disappointing for people, even if it's been explained to them, is that they really just assume like that you can place an article for them. Now that is something, I don't actually do that, at least not yet, where like getting articles published. So that's another area of confusion too. People, and I wouldn't expect people to know this, but like a press release is a news announcement. It's a certain format, it's a headline and a dateline, and it's very formatted, templated. It's not a news article. The reporter takes the press release and hopefully turns it into an article. So people say, can you publish an article for me in Forbes? And the answer is no, I don't do that. I mean, I could talk to an editor at Forbes and get them interested in hearing about your story, then they will write the article. But that's a little complicated for some people to understand, or it's certainly not an area of knowledge anybody would have. And frankly, I didn't know anything about it really until I got into it. You know, I sort of, but that's the general arena.
So it sounds like, one, I absolutely love that this particular element about you and Comms Factory is the candidness, the ability and the willingness to, one, say, that's not going to work. I think that in the world of service providers, that's a bit more rare. To be able to come across people that are just going, you know, they're going to be like, hey, this isn't going to work, or this is going to work, because that's a part of what you're bringing to the table for your clients is that knowledge and that deeper understanding. And then second, I also think it's really great, and this is one of the reasons why I'm very excited to have Comms Factory in the Empowery directory, is because they're like PR and in general, Comms Factory can actually serve so many different sides of the coin. In that it sounds like you actually have some kind of ready-made packages that you have done in the past for Amazon sellers, as well as in general e-commerce sellers. As well as there is a variety of ways that you can also service the other side of that coin, which is the service providers. So it's not exclusive to e-commerce sellers. This is actually a service that is relevant, pertinent, and impactful for both, say, an aggregator or somebody selling cookware. It's a universally applicable and helpful value add for pretty much any kind of business.